wanted to speak on fear, fraudulent intimidators. And though they're fraudulent, it doesn't take away the fact that they don't feel real. That doesn't change the fact that how it make you look at things, people, situations, even yourself. Um, I grew up in fear of a lot of things. I never knew why. I thought it was, at the point in time, I thought it was just me. That's just how I was born. But growing up, learning, you realize that, children, we're not born like the things of the world. Yes, we're born in sin. We're born in sin, but that doesn't mean we have to remain in sin. That's a choice as well as many other things. But that doesn't mean or say that children are born to be racist. Children are born to be fearful or timid or many other things. How children may grow up. Some things are just taught. Some things are just placed within us by certain individuals that we learned later in life had done, but it's never was a part of God's design. It's like taking a foundation God has already instilled within a child coming into this world, and then taking that foundation that He has instilled, digging it up, tearing it down, breaking it down through abuse, or any form of level of abuse that it may be, because none of it's good. And then tearing it down completely to where there's nothing left, and you build up your own foundation in that child, causing that child to detour from God, the things of God, and having a false perceptive of God. And it's just so much in there within itself that I can go on. But as far as that I wanted to speak on is fear and the fraudulent intimidators. When I said that I grew up in fear and stuff, later in life, how we suppress things and stuff. But, later in life, I finally realized that I wasn't born like that. That was done to me. Having knives pulled out on me by siblings and stuff at a very young age, that can cause great fear. Having people, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, having people tie you up as they whoop you and stuff, or having people beat you with a stick, and having people, strangers you don't even know, and family members allowing them to put their hands on you as well. Those things can cause fear as well as many other things. There's other side effects to that, but I wanted to just mainly stick on fear and fraudulent intimidators and stuff. And so, because I used to, if I heard a chair move, I would jump. If I heard anything squeak, if any slight of noise, I would jump. And I used to think growing up that, it was playful when you have your siblings and your parents and other individual strangers and family members who would try to jump out and scare you and stuff when you were unaware and things. I thought that was playful, but looking back and the things submerging, or the things coming to the surface that I'm starting to remember now that I couldn't remember at that point in time, those things were not playful. Those things were done intentionally to continue the fear, to keep the fear going and stuff. Because I was always afraid of standing up for myself, afraid of speaking for myself, afraid of, just so many things. I imagined it in my head, what I would do, what I would say, but I never really came out. And, but now, no. I'm nowhere near that now. I say the only thing different now, other than I do stand up for myself, I do defend myself, and definitely my son. But the only thing different now, throughout all of the abuse, throughout all the things that I've been encountering and still encountering, is that I kind of shut down. That's the only silence and fear and stuff that I noticed that I have is that I've shut down and trying to reach out to people, explain to people, screaming for help, but they're not hearing my voice. And so it becomes silent, it becomes dormant. And to that point, it can become very, for me personally, suffocating, feeling like you're having a panic attack. And that's not a good feeling at all. And so, but even still today, where nobody believes the situation and what I'm going through, and if they do believe, they don't care. As I always say, like King David would say, no man careth for my soul. And that's been a fact in my life. And I always have to stress, I speak from personal experience. I'm only speaking from my experience. I can't speak for anyone else. And it's strange. I didn't know when I stopped being afraid, but I definitely know that I started to become more or less afraid when I had my son, because I knew I had to defend him, and I knew that I had to do things that I normally wouldn't do for myself, and as it pertains to people, situations, and but I have individuals now, still childish, still, but this is just the environment me and my son are still in until we're able to get out, however we get out, be it death or life. As I always say, to live is Christ, to die is gain. And living for Christ isn't always a beautiful, glorious thing. Dying for him is not always beautiful either. In his eyesight, it may be, but in ours, and the way that many people leave this life, or the things that many people go through in this life, isn't always beautiful or glamorous. But they will walk through the house. They will say something. They will say indirect things very loudly and stuff when no one else is around, saying that how this black stuff is settling on the walls and settling things. I don't know what it is, but it's just been for a while. This black stuff has been settling on things, and I don't know what it is. I don't think it's carbon monoxide. I pray and hope it's not. But they would go around, and it's like they know or they intentionally did something to cause it, and they would go around the house in indirect ways loudly and say, this can kill you, this, little stuff like that. And I know it was directed towards me and my son. And they would do other things like say loudly to where I can hear, if I wanted to kill you, I can kill you and get away with it. They'll be speaking to someone else or to themselves, but they'll say it loud enough to where I can hear. Like at one point, I remember one time when I was very, very young, and when people are abusers and children are not aware of it at that time. Most children are not, especially when you're born into it and you grow up to think that stuff is normal, and you come to find out it is not. But one point in my life as a child, I recall being taken to the hospital. I've been taken to the hospital so many times as a child, but looking back now, realizing those were not accidents. Those were intentional attacks done unto me. But God. And I was taken to the emergency room, had my stomach pumped, because I don't remember and I don't recall this, but according to my mother, the little quotation mark there on the side, she said told the doctors that I had drunk some bleach and I got it in my eye. So they pumped my stomach and whatever else they did that I don't remember, other than the pumping of the stomach and drinking some chocolate milk or stuff like that. And so, that was what was told. And Lord only knows the other many things that were told that were lies that I can't recall, that I don't know of, but only God knows. But I do wish I knew. And so I say that coming back now is that within these past few years, I've been noticing how this certain individual would, how the coffee would taste like bleach. How she would say indirectly, very loudly. I accidentally put bleach in the food. I got to go and rebuy the items again. You know, why would you say that out loud? Normally, if people made an accident or made a mistake in doing of such things, they would just get rid of the food and go get it. They don't have to make it known that they did that. And so it hit me in my spirit that I didn't drink that bleach as a child. It was given to me. And because being that young, naive, simple child, I was given the blame for that. You have people that want to take you out and want to kill you, or they desire to kill you, so they play with it. They don't take it all the way, but take it to the point where they can hurt you or harm you in some ways. And like I said, I had so many things done to me. I recall one night laying on the floor as a child waiting for my mother, this certain individual mother, to come home. And she was out somewhere partying or whatever. And it was dark in the living room, but not dark enough to where you couldn't see like your hand in front of you. But it was dark. Otherwise, there was no lights in the living room, but the window curtains, I believe, were open because I can see the moon, the light of the moon, and the stars and stuff shining in, so you can see. And so she came in and she had on these high heels. I want to say they were 3-inch heels, maybe 2-inch. And she stepped on my my stomach, not my stomach, but like close to my vaginal area. That's where she stepped on that. And that left such a bruise. It was there for such a long time. For a while, all I could see looking at that was like a round black heel circle on near my vaginal area, and just black and bruised. Never taken to the hospital for it, so I don't know how that affected me growing up. I can expound on that, but I'm not right now. But and my things that I'm unaware of, because we don't know everything that goes on in our bodies. Doctors don't even know everything that goes on in our bodies. So I don't know how that fully affects me, other than the fact that growing up, how I was always told by doctors that I wouldn't be able to have a child. And when I got pregnant with my son at the age of 29, that kind of shocked me because I argued with the doctor in the office. But I guess it was time. I guess it was God saying I give the okay on this. So I was able to carry, and my first child, my only child. And but that carrying wasn't easy, because throughout the whole 9 months, every day was nothing but pain. You think you feel pain, and which most do at the point of labor and delivering the baby. But I didn't have that. I had pain throughout my entire pregnancy, every day. Pain, 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 pain. Severe pain. Couldn't eat, and that's all in another story in itself, and the things that were happening at that point. But the only time I didn't feel pain was when I gave birth to my son. And that was because they had to put me under, and I had to go into C-section because my child was in distress, and I wasn't dilated. And so, and also I believe it was toward the point where I couldn't have him vaginally. And like I said, many things can play into that. But, I couldn't have him vaginally, so I had to have a C-section. But that was the only time I didn't have pain, was when I was knocked out. Now, I had it after I woke up, but it was nothing as severe as it was carrying him through those 9 months. And so so other things that they would say and do, I would notice how she would go through the house sharpening knives. Why would you walk through the hallways and in bedrooms and stuff, sharpening knives and stuff for other individuals to hear you? That's a kitchen thing or an outback thing, and so why would you try to intimidate and threaten people like that? But at one point that would have scared me, that would have caused great, tremendous fear. But I've been through so much that's like, there's a song that William Murphy has. The Lord might not have the exact right title, but I'm just saying that he says that the Lord is my salvation. Now, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And I don't know. Maybe it's something that maybe that God just placed in me at one point that I don't realize the point that He placed it in. But regardless of the attacks and the threats that's going on, I refuse to be afraid of them. For God says in His word, fear not him who can kill the body and afterward can do no more, but fear him who can destroy both soul and flesh in the fire of hell. I think I'm quoting it right. Maybe I'm not, but close to it. Most of you know what I'm speaking on. And yeah, hold on. And as before, I'm not just getting these attacks from the natural, I'm getting them from the spiritual world as well, the spirit world. Um, Foul spirits, demons, or what the Bible calls principalities, powers, evils of darkness in high places. I'm definitely getting it from there as well. And it's such a great attack that I don't even want to go to sleep at night. But at the same time, I need to sleep, but I don't want to sleep because every day is something. And it's one thing to go through it while you're awake, but to go to sleep at night and be attacked like that is something else. And as I said before, sometimes it's not always due to, sometimes it's most of the times, most or some of the times it's due to the atmosphere you're in. And I kind of believe that's majority of why, because of the atmosphere me and my son are in, but constant great attacks and stuff. And wow, wow. I'm saying wow because my life is mind blowing. It is, and so I'm getting attacks while I'm sleeping, stuff, constant threats of. I recall God giving me a dream and a vision. And I thank God for that because He speaks to me. At one point in time, I didn't think that He spoke to me, but He speaks to me. People will make you think that God and Jesus, the Holy Spirit, don't speak to you, but they speak to you as well. And that shows how great of a gentleman God is because He comes to us first. Now, if somebody else comes to us with something, it's only confirmation. At least that's how I take it. For me personally and my son, it's just confirmation. But I've learned, I'm still learning, that when God speaks to me, He speaks to me. He comes to me first. May listen, may not listen. It's not that I don't want to listen. It's that sometimes I don't always perceive it as of God. Sometimes I misinterpret. Sometimes I don't understand quite off what it is that He's saying to me. But He always comes to me and my son and speaks to us first. And anything He gives anybody else is only confirmation for us than what He already told us. And so I thank Him for that because I don't have to depend on man's word alone for my life like I used to in times past, which is not good. And so the dream and a vision that God gave to me at one point was I was running through this house, through these hallways, and there were a bunch of dogs and stuff chasing me. I mean, there were so many dogs of all kind of dogs just chasing me. And they were all over me, and I'm steady trying to fight them off. They wouldn't leave me alone and stuff. They just kept bothering me and bothering me. And, and you know, and I finally made it out the house into this car to where I was able to get away. And God was showing me of the many things and many types of individuals that will be trying to come at me, or, will you take this less than, or will you wait and see and take what I have for you that's better than that? And that, the enemy will always try to dangle things or intimidate you or keep bothering you and pestering you with things and stuff. And sometimes in his ignorance, thinking that, that you would choose something like that. And maybe one point in your life you probably have, but God. But we'll dangle those things to see, will she take this bait? And the thing about that is that I'm just, I'm getting tired, because it's like a constant everyday thing. Wrong manners of spirits and individuals who just keep coming at me and stuff that won't leave me alone. And is even more frustrating because I can see their manner of spirit, and everyone else that's around act like they can't see it. And so that in itself is bothersome and wearisome at times. And I don't care how an individual looks on the outside, good or not good, up or not up, always have to check the manner of spirit and stuff. And so, God gave me that dream, and the enemy has been intimidating me and attacking me with that as well. Every time I go somewhere, I'm seeing images of dogs and stuff pop up. Every time I mean, it's just everywhere. You can't even go to a hospital, well, at least with the hospitals where I take my son here, without, images or something of a dog somewhere. And I was seeing like a dog spirit and stuff like that. And, trying to intimidate me and threaten me to make me feel like, you're a dog, you're less than, you're this and that. And that's been my life as well, because I've had many people that always tried to give me less than. And because I recall one point, and I don't know if I mentioned this in my book or not, I believe I do. I believe I do. And a certain minister and stuff, I don't know, watch your kids. Can't have them around everybody who claims to be of God. And the thing of it is, I had nobody watching over me. Sadly, everyone around me, including my family, were wolves in sheep clothing. That's not the case for all, but sadly, that was the case for me. And so this certain minister, or not just him, but other individuals and stuff. And it's sad that older people are jealous. How can you be jealous? I truly hate that spirit of jealousy. Not that I haven't been jealous and envious before, but I will do whatever I can to tear it down, because I hate it. I don't like it. And I don't understand how older people can be jealous of younger individuals. I can understand in some ways when people are intentionally trying to make you jealous of them, but just to intentionally make somebody, just to be jealous for no reason, and just in spite, just spiteful, and spiteful to the point of just doing anything evil that you possibly can to tear that person down. So this certain minister had a brother who was a drug addict. And I'm a child going to this church, a very young child. And this man could have been like probably could have been my father, as it pertains to his age. And this, just to tear me down, just to try to, just seem like the enemy, because the Satan's children are no different than him. And we'll dangle things in front of you. We'll offer you things to see if you will take the bait. And have to be careful, know your worth, because people will make you fearful and intimidate you because I got this title, because I wear this collar, because I got this fame, because I have this position in society. It's okay. And, I got this favor. And the Bible talks about that. All favor is not God's favor. Remember, the enemy mimics God. So just as there is the favor of God, there's the favor of Satan, the false favor, fraudulent favor. Everything that looks good doesn't mean it's of God. And so this certain minister tried to tear me down and or insult me by trying to set me up with his drug addict brother, saying that he needs a good woman in his life. Thank God I had sense, at least enough sense. But that hurted me, and that really cut me in the area to where, yeah, it's not bleeding. The wound isn't bleeding, but that doesn't mean it's not still there sitting open. It's not fully closed yet. It's still kind of open. And so just a lot of fear tactics and intimidation things the enemy will try to come at you with, using in certain individuals to do so. And so in this house, this is where we and my son are residing. The only reason why me and my son are still here is because God is keeping us. And until we're able to get out. However that be, because I'm okay with any way God chooses to get us out. You have to, because life is inevitable, death is inevitable. We all got to face both. And, but be it of the Lord's will. And, so they would stomp around the house, constant noise. The noise that you hear now, that's just my son. He's playing. But they were just, and the only reason why I'm doing this recording now is because they're not here. Or at least a few of them are not. And constantly slamming doors and stuff, and stomping and stuff, and slamming things down to try to see if they can make you jump, or see if they can make you fearful, or they will try you and try to step to you and talk down to you by pointing their finger in your face. And God knows you have to be a strong individual in that, not to respond in a way that will cause you to end up in jail. But also, even in that, to respond in a way to let them know that you don't talk to me like that. You don't down me like that. And I am not afraid of you, regardless of your mental state or the whatever is going on in your mental state. Whatever you're plotting, whatever you're doing, I refuse to be afraid of you, because you are not God, and you are not my God at that. And that's what many of them want to be, God in your life. They tried to, and have been many times, out of my ignorance, God in my life. And but I thank God for waking me up to that. And so they will try to intimidate you or cause fear in you by the many people and the flying monkeys and things that they have with them. They will make who they have seem bigger than what they really are. And even from the spirit world, it used to bother me, and how, the many attacks and stuff I had from the spirit world, and even on this side of people trying to intimidate me with death. And but it don't really scare me like it don't have me like it used to have me. Especially learning about it, reading about it, and what I've been through. Because I always feel like Paul, I'm in between the two, having a desire to depart to be here, or depart to be with Christ, which is far better. And always saying, or at least try to say daily, to live is Christ, to die is gain. And from what I've been through from personal experience, and even the things that my son had to go through being born, to be with God and Jesus is far better. And Of course, I'm going to talk more about just a little bit on some of this stuff in the bridegroom video. But, you know, even the Bible goes to state that in Lazarus' lifetime, all he had was evil. A lifetime is when the time from that you were conceived to the time you die and depart this life. That's a lifetime. Lazarus had a lifetime of evil. Wow. And Jesus loved him. And so, yeah, I can relate to that. The love part, I can't. Not to say that God and Jesus don't love me. It's just that everybody's different. Sometimes what you go through, and people will try to make it seem like what you go through, that to accept God and Jesus, that you won't have to go through much, or you'll never go through a lot of evil and this or that or the other. But that's not true. Like Lazarus, your whole lifetime can be nothing but evil. But that's just whatever God's intended purpose or plan is in that. But it doesn't take away the fact that they don't love us. And so a lot of things on that. And so the enemy is still trying to intimidate me, as well as his followers, family members and stuff, and that I have, still trying to intimidate. And it is strange, even strangers that I don't even know come at me and try to attack me. And maybe it's not the individual, more so not the individual, it's just the manner of spirit that's within them that recognize me or recognize who you are. And just come at me as in ways that's like, I can kill you if I want to kill you. But it's like God is saying, can't touch this, not this one, not yet. It's not that I don't have a time, a set point, but for whatever reason, God and Jesus is not allowing it. But it doesn't mean the intimidation and the attacks don't stop. And it's a constant everyday thing to where it's like, I can't breathe. And I don't like dogs. I truly hate dogs. Because the enemy has been using that greatly in a form or in a way to try to make me feel like that I'm a dog, that I'm less than, that me and my son have no worth and we have no value. Because of all the lies and stuff. And so many lies. There's a scripture in Ezekiel 13. You have to read that whole chapter because I love the whole chapter. But I believe it's either 19 on down. I know it's verse 19 on down. It's that verse is, but it says that when God was telling the false prophets who prophesy out of their own spirit, that people who were doing wicked and evil things, he was telling them that you have made the heart of my people sad, whom I have not made sad, with lies. With lies. You know, and people think because a lot of people are saying the same things out of ignorance that it's supposed to be true. That's not necessarily so. Yes, the word of God says you need, if there is 2 or 3 witnesses, that would make it so. But God always stresses in his word that it has to be a faithful witness, a faithful witness, a person with the right manner of spirit. And not every person has the right manner of spirit, and not every individual is a faithful witness. As before, Satan mimics God. And a lot of people have been and are being destroyed because of them, and not just with lies, abuse and stuff. And even more worse because you have the abuser pretending to be the victim. And so that makes things even more conflicting and stuff. And so the things that they're doing to me, or trying to do to me and my son, they flip it to other people and make it seem like it's me doing it to them. And people believe it and they buy it. These are some of the people who say they loved me in times past. But you don't come to me and ask me my side of it. You don't come to me and say, okay, I heard your side. I want to hear your side of it. No, you just run with the bait. So this just shows me where your value or where your level of love, or that you claimed that was love towards me, which was false, which was never real. And so, yeah, um, so many things in that. But I have some other videos that I got to work on. But there's one main one that's really important to me that I want to get finished. And so, in all of these, some of the videos that I'm recording, that I'm doing, some may seem long, but there's not as full as that I would like for them to be, because I have so much to say in them. So, like in this one, I can say so much in this, so many things done to me, so many things. And, you know, but I wanted to just bring that to the forefront. I wanted to speak on that. Well, regardless of the intimidations, regardless of the fear that they try to make me feel that they once had me at one point in time, I just refuse to be that. I refuse to be that. I shall fear no man but God. I'm not saying fear isn't present and try to creep there, but it's not going to rule me and my son. It's not going to overtake us. And, you know, and so that's what they want. They want me and my son to be afraid, to be intimidated by them. But it's so much more the intimidation than the fear that really gets me, because I'm tired of everyday constant intimidation. Like I said, I meet strangers whom I know not of, and as before, it may be the manner or spirit that they have that recognize me more so than anything. But it just all the time, it just seems like, me and my son take this public transportation. And every time we take the public transportation, the same individual all the time, he tightens the seat belts in the seat to where I can't pull them out. And then he'll say all the time, "What's your name? Oh, I forgot your name. Who are you?" Constantly. And the Spirit of God within me will just tell me he's just trying to make you feel like you don't matter, like you are unimportant, like you don't exist, and like like your life don't matter in this world or this life. And and at points and at a lot of times, and even a little bit right now, I don't feel like it matters as much in this life. But that's okay, because a certain late minister said that many people will not know who you are until it's too late. And I told God I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Just don't forget me and my son. Don't forget us. Remember us. Come and get us. Because what we're in, nobody can get us out but you. And however you choose to get us out, be it life or death, be it big or small, I'm okay with it. For me and my son's life. So yeah, when you meet strangers and people acting funny with you, it's not so much them, or you can say it's them, because a lot of people with those manner of spirits know that they got those spirits, and they choose to keep those spirits because they love their evil ways and they love the feel of those spirits. But still, the manner of the spirit, it's that manner of spirit that sees and recognizes you. And, many people in the New Testament who had a foul spirit that Jesus came and approached, or they came and approached him, those spirits within those individuals recognized who Jesus was. And it wasn't the person speaking, it was the spirit always speaking through those individuals. And so, That still don't make it, even though if you know that or not, it still don't make it feel good, and it still don't make it right. But a lot of intimidation that the enemy will try to use to make you believe, constantly, daily, try to make you believe that you're of no worth, you have no value, nobody loves you, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you know, you weren't meant to exist, and so many other things. Intimidation after intimidation. And on top of that, fear, constant threats and many things to try to make you fearful. But I needed to talk about that. I wanted to get that. I didn't want to leave that bottled in. Though I'm not saying it's not still affecting me by getting it out through this voice recording, but still needed to speak that out, get that out. And so, anyway, yeah, the enemy can roar so loud. And that's through sight, that's through feelings and emotions, that's through other people whom you know or don't know. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to close. As before, as I mentioned many times, like Elijah, having an army come after him. And all anyone, even his servant, can see was the army. Big army at that. That's just the enemy roaring real loud. But he had a host of angels that nobody could see that were greater than that army. And though I see things, but I don't see them fully, God lets me see what I can handle right now. But all the things that's surrounding me and my son right now, that I'm seeing in the natural and the spiritual, I have to constantly remind myself that there's always God, Jesus, a host of angels, and many more that are surrounding them. Because God can use anything. God can use anything. Anything. Anyway, thanks for listening, or rather choosing to listen.